Hey folks, welcome to the show. Today we're diving into the heart of some of football's most shocking scandals. These ain't just your average fumbles or missed calls, no sir. These are the moments that made you shake your head, spit out your coffee and say, did that really just happen? We're talking about controversies that rocked the sport, left fans outraged, and still have people talking to this day. So buckle up because we're going on a wild ride through football's Hall of Shame. Now you can't talk about football scandals without mentioning the hand of God. It's 1986 World Cup quarterfinal Argentina versus England. The tension is thicker than a London fog. Then it happens. Maradona, the little magician himself, goes up for a header with the goalie, but instead of using his head, boom, he punches the ball into the net. The ref, he doesn't see it. Goal Argentina. The English players, they're going bonkers, but the goal stands. And you know what? Maradona, he fuels the controversy, calling it a little bit with the head of Maradona and a little bit with the hand of God. Now you gotta respect the audacity, but come on, that's cheating pure and simple. It's a moment that's etched in World Cup history, a reminder that even the beautiful game can have its share of dirty tricks. From divine intervention we move on to a scandal that shook Italian football to its core. Calciopoli. This was a match-fixing scandal that exploded in 2006, and believe me, it was uglier than a 3-yard loss on 4th down. We're talking about some of the biggest clubs in Italy, Juventus, AC Milan, Fiorentina, all implicated in a web of corruption. Referees were being influenced, games were being rigged, and the integrity of the sport was thrown out the window. The evidence was overwhelming, phone calls, wiretaps, you name it, and the punishments, they were swift and severe. Juventus, stripped of their titles, relegated to Serie B. Other clubs faced point deductions, fines and bans from European competitions. Calciopoli was a black eye for Italian football, a stark reminder that greed and corruption can poison even the most beautiful game. Now when it comes to scandals, FIFA, the governing body of world football, they're no strangers to controversy. But the 2015 scandal, that was a whole different ballgame. This wasn't just about a few bad calls or even match fixing, this was about corruption at the highest levels of the sport. We're talking about bribery, racketeering, money laundering, all the makings of a Hollywood thriller, except this was real life. High-ranking FIFA officials were accused of accepting millions of dollars in bribes in exchange for awarding World Cup hosting rights and other favors. The feds, they swooped in, arrested several officials, and the whole world watched as the dirty laundry of international football was aired out for everyone to see. It was a major embarrassment for FIFA and a wake-up call for the entire sport. Chapter 4. The French Connection, a bitter pill to swallow. The 1982 World Cup semi-final between France and West Germany was a match that would go down in history for all the wrong reasons. This game had it all: incredible goals, dramatic twists, and one of the most controversial moments in World Cup history. The atmosphere was electric, with fans on the edge of their seats. West Germany was leading, but France, they were coming on strong. The tension was palpable as both teams fought tooth and nail for a place in the final. Then, in a flash, French forward Patrick Battiston was through on goal. The crowd held its breath, anticipating a moment of brilliance. German goalkeeper Harald Schumacher came charging out, and boom, they collided. It was a clash that would be replayed and analyzed for years to come. Now this wasn't your average collision, folks. It was a brutal, bone-crunching impact that left everyone in the stadium stunned. Battiston was left sprawled on the ground, unconscious, with a damaged vertebra and missing teeth. The sight was harrowing, and the silence in the stadium was deafening. Schumacher? He just stood there, waiting to restart the game. His lack of concern was shocking to many. No foul was given, and Schumacher went on to help West Germany win in a penalty shootout. The decision left fans and players alike in disbelief. The French understandably were outraged. Their dreams of World Cup glory had been shattered in the most controversial of circumstances. They called it an assault, a disgrace to the game. Protests erupted, and the incident sparked debates about sportsmanship and fairness. And you know what? They had every right to be angry. The sense of injustice was overwhelming, and it was a moment that would be etched in football history. It was a moment that left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth, a reminder that sometimes justice doesn't prevail on the football pitch. The echoes of that night in 1982 still resonate, a testament to the passion and heartbreak that define the beautiful game. Chapter 5. Keane versus Haaland, a grudge match for the ages. Now let's talk about a rivalry that went way too far. This isn't just any rivalry, it's one that escalated beyond the boundaries of sportsmanship. Roy Keane and Alf-Inge Haaland, two tough-as-nails midfielders, had a history. Their clashes on the field were legendary, but not in a good way. It all started a few years earlier when Haaland, playing for Leeds, accused Keane of faking an injury. This accusation didn't sit well with Keane, who was known for his fierce pride and competitive spirit. Keane, he didn't take kindly to that. The seed of resentment was planted, and it would only grow from there. Fast forward to 2001, Manchester United versus Manchester City. The stage was set for a showdown that would go down in infamy. Keane, in a moment of madness, went in for a horrific tackle on Haaland. It wasn't just a foul, it was an act of vengeance. It was a blatant, vengeful attack, and Keane was immediately shown a red card. The referee had no choice but to send him off. But here's the thing, Keane didn't just hurt Haaland physically, he ended his career. The injury was severe and Haaland never fully recovered. The injury was that bad. It was a moment that changed the course of both players' careers and left a dark mark on football history. Now some people might call it passion, but I call it a lack of discipline and respect. This wasn't just a game, it was a grudge match that went too far. It was a dark day for football. A reminder that sometimes, the line between competition and violence can be dangerously thin. The legacy of that day still lingers, a cautionary tale for future generations. Chapter 6, 2002, World Cup, a tournament of controversy. The 2002 World Cup, hosted by South Korea and Japan, was supposed to be a celebration of the beautiful game. It was the first time the tournament was held in Asia, and expectations were sky high. Fans from all over the globe gathered to witness what was anticipated to be a historic event. But instead, it became mired in controversy, thanks to some questionable refereeing decisions that left fans around the world scratching their heads. The integrity of the sport was called into question as never before. South Korea, the co-hosts, were the beneficiaries of several controversial calls. These decisions seemed to favor the home team in critical moments, raising eyebrows and sparking debates. In their round of 16 match against Italy, the referee disallowed a perfectly good Italian goal and then awarded South Korea a dubious penalty. The Italian team and their fans were left in disbelief. They went on to win the game in extra time, a victory that many felt was tainted by the officiating. Then, in the quarterfinals against Spain, South Korea had 2 goals disallowed, only to have the referee award them a winning penalty in the shootout after a Spanish player had his spot kick saved. The Spanish team was left frustrated and disheartened. The calls were so egregious, so one-sided, that many accused FIFA of fixing the tournament in favor of the co-hosts. The controversy overshadowed the achievements on the field, leaving a lasting stain on what should have been a joyous celebration of football. Luis Suarez, one of the most talented strikers of his generation, has also been at the center of several controversies throughout his career, but none were as bizarre, as downright shocking, as the bite incident at the 2014 World Cup. Uruguay was playing against Italy and the game was on the line. Then, in a moment of madness, Suarez, in a tangle with Italian defender Giorgio Chiellini, leaned in and bit him on the shoulder. Now I've seen a lot of things on the football pitch, but I've never seen anything quite like that. It was surreal, almost comical. But it was also a serious offense, and Suarez was hit with a lengthy ban. The incident tarnished Suarez's reputation and sparked a global debate about his temperament and sportsmanship. In 2011, Turkish football was rocked by a massive match-fixing scandal that implicated some of the biggest clubs and players in the country. The scandal involved allegations of widespread match-fixing, bribery, and illegal betting. Prosecutors accused players, club officials, and even referees of conspiring to rig games for financial gain. The investigation was like opening a can of worms, revealing a deeply ingrained culture of corruption within Turkish football. The scandal sent shockwaves through the country, leading to arrests, resignations, and a loss of faith in the integrity of the sport. The 2014 World Cup was supposed to be Brazil's time to shine, their chance to reclaim their rightful place as kings of the football world. But their dreams were shattered in the quarterfinal match against Colombia. Neymar, Brazil's star player, their golden boy, was brutally tackled by Colombian defender Juan Camilo Zuniga. The challenge left Neymar writhing in agony, his back broken, his World Cup over. The entire nation of Brazil was in mourning. Their hopes and dreams, carried on the shoulders of their young star, were dashed in an instant. Neymar's injury was a turning point in the tournament, not just for Brazil but for the entire competition. Well folks, there you have it, some of the most shocking scandals in football history. From the hand of God to the Luis Suarez bite, these moments have left an undeniable mark on the sport. They remind us that even in the beautiful game, there's always a dark side, a potential for controversy, for human error, and sometimes for downright cheating. But that's also what makes football so captivating, so unpredictable. It's a game of passion, of high stakes, and sometimes, those emotions can lead to moments that leave us speechless, for better or for worse.